Hear the stories of men and women switching hustles and escaping the odds through entrepreneurship after prison. Not only will these stories inspire you, but also unlock business tips for financial freedom. Let's get it. Thank you all for tuning in to another dope episode of Escaping the Odds podcast. Episode number 27. Got my main man, Pete Keller, here with me today. And this brother is doing extraordinary things in the city of Chicago. He's a citywide activist. On top of that, he's an author as well, dropping his new book at the end of the month. Got a hell of a story, and I wanted to make sure that we capture that. As you guys know, Escaping the Odds, we interview formerly incarcerated men and women who are now successful entrepreneurs. So that's what we're going to do today. Pete Keller.
That's right. Hey,
what's up, brother?
Aaron?
How you doing, man?
It's a pleasure as always. So real quick, the name of the book, of course, is Cabrini Green, the Pete Keller Chronicles.
Okay.
And the book is basically an autobiography. We talk about the life of Pete Keller, what I went through 27 years of being inside what you could say is a wild journey. And I don't hold back anything in the book. I want to paint that picture very clear that, a lot of people say, well, they stick up for Cabrini, it was so nice and this and that. And it was. It was very, just like any, neighborhood, it had its really good points. But I'm here to tell you, what you heard about Cabrini and what you thought about Cabrini, of course it's true. Let's keep it real. We was a very aggressive community with a lot of love because we had a sense of community.
Okay.
So, the book is really, it's gonna give you an inside look at how we really got down. I bar none, I keep it 100. And the whole point of the book is to shed light about the real diversity of Cabrini, that we had different sanctions of Cabrini. And that's what any community is really about. A lot of people say, well, I live in a place, we're a community. No, you don't understand community until you're in a place where, say for instance, there was a shooting on Chicago Avenue in Hudson. And this was before cell phones. Now, it would travel a whole mile away by word of mouth because we were so close-knit and stuck together without cell phones to maybe the other end of Cabrini in not even 10 minutes. Because that's how close-knit we were. Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So let's go back into your involvement in the streets, being incarcerated. I know your first time incarcerated, you was 22 years old, young dude coming out of Cabrini Greens. What was that whole experience like? And then also coming out of Cabrini Greens, I know when you come out of there and you go into the joint, it's a different, especially if you got some kind of a status on the streets. You may be put in certain kind of positions or whatever, right? So let's walk through that whole experience of being incarcerated and what did you end up getting locked up for in the first place?
Well, back then, I was still in the lifestyle. When you're in the lifestyle, you live by code, of course. And each mob has their own codes and cliques and different rules and, different parts of structure. And so, and what I was, we really was close-knit. We stuck together and we definitely had organization. It was structure, So anytime that I got locked up, they put me in play. If I go into the county, I'm gonna call it for whatever, building I went, only because that's how we got down. We made sure that ours was taken care of. You know what I'm saying? That's how it was back then. Nowadays, a lot of structure is falling. That's too bad. Maybe they should free certain people, who knows? But we had our heyday. The book is really about triumph. So say, for instance, if I could make it, somebody who didn't have anything, came up, man, when I went to the Greens, I was like maybe 12, 13, not even a teenager yet.
So how did you end up, 12 years old, how did you end up in the Cabrini Greens?
Because we lived down the street. I'm from Orchard. Much love to my Orchard Street clique. Now, for those who don't know, Orchard Street is a street that's known. They have complex over there, the Orchard Street, complex. And it's only like a few blocks away from Cabrini. Okay. So a lot of people that lived in Cabrini have family on Orchard. Okay. And vice versa. And so, at that time, we were going back and forth to Cabrini. And that's where I felt more at home. Okay, I wanted to roll with the big boys. Yeah, my celebrities weren't, how you growing up and people have idols and they put them up on their, on their walls in their room and stuff. You might have Leif Garrett, the Fonz, Michael Jackson, Prince, whatever.
Michael Jordan.
Right, Michael Jordan, whoever your idols were. Well, see, that's where I differed from everybody. My idols were those who was on the street, those who were tangible, those who I could see, those who I actually saw get money. And I was just different, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? Now don't get me wrong, I might have, you know what I'm saying, like me a Lil Wayne or two, you know what I'm saying? Somebody that I felt was doing it back then,
Right.
the KRS ones, you know what I'm saying? And the
So
Polos, you know them.
So how did you get your introduction into the whole street life?
Again, you know, being on the streets, you know, I come, like I said, from Orchard, and you know, back then, you know, we had the OSGs, Orchard Street Gangsters.
Okay.
You know, and I mean, these are just, you know, these are truths. See, now you can get online and you can look up all this. You know, it could be, you know, white kids in Davenport somewhere, look up and see all these laws and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So nothing is secret anymore. Let's put that out there first. So nothing is new under the sun. And I'm glad to have been a part of an era that it was structured, that it was something, because I don't know how it would have been growing up in this era now. Like, seriously. But getting back to what I was saying about the book. So the book is definitely shedding light on what we went through at Cabrini. It's called Cabrini Green, the Pete Keller Chronicles. It will be out August 23rd.
Okay.
And the book signing is August 29th. And the book signing is at a place that's called the Burning Bush Brewery.
Okay.
Which is at 4014 North Rockwell.
All right,
And it's a beautiful spot. I encourage you guys to come on down, get you a signed copy. Like I said, this book getting ready to go, man, make movies. You know, like how they got, like, you know, Chicago PD and Chicago Fire and all this other stuff. They're gonna be putting Cabrini Green out there. You know what I'm saying?
One thing I could say about Cabrini Green, I think most people outside of Chicago, when they hear Cabrini Green, or when you say a Chicago housing project, they automatically think of the Cabrini Green.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so, and I think that comes from a lot of stuff that was in the media during that time.
And don't forget Candyman,
the
Cooley
movie,
High,
definitely, yeah.
Heaven's a Playground, Hoop Dreams,
Exactly.
you know, Good Times.
Right.
You know,
So what
this.
was it like your teenage years in the Cabrini Green?
Well, you know, I had to say this, you know, and I'm keeping it 100, Aaron, I'm sure you know this. You know, we were misguided as children. You know, we were taught to be tough. We were taught to not have emotions. We were taught that you don't take pictures, you don't do this, you don't do that. Right. It was all these rules of what you don't do.
Right.
But not encouragement to be a part of what you can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So back then, and I'm keeping 100. Y'all might not believe this, but he can attest to this. Anyone who's over 35 should know this. Back then, dumb was cool. You didn't. The person who was act smart was like a book. You know, it was like a nerd thing. You know, and it's just stupid to say this. It sounds so dumb now. Even for me to say this, so rhetorical. But being dumb was in back then. Like the more slower you were, and you act like you understand. You know what I'm saying? You was down. And I'm sorry to have to say that. So
sad but true.
So right. And so we had to we were dumbed down. Our whole generation was bamboozled. You know, and I think the only structure that we did have was the mob. Let's keep it real. You know, the only guidance we did have, and it was minimal, because you have to think, if we're already dumbed down, and these brothers are guiding us who had to act dumbed down too, but you had to know laws and this and that, you know, it really confused you.
I mean,
you know?
for some people though, and I never want to glorify that kind of lifestyle. However, for some people, it gave them a sense of accountability as well. You know what I mean? Just kind of, because as you mentioned earlier, the structure that was involved, different positions people played in. So it gave them a sense of ownership and association, and like a family.
And this is the only place you really saw men. You know, let's keep it real. You know, the father might not have been in the household in a lot of the project scenarios or the ghetto, let's just say, but on the streets, you had these brothers, you know what I'm saying? You had someone that was older than you, someone that, you know, could probably guide you. Though he might not have guided you right all the time, it was still there.
Do you believe there was more misguiding than proper guidance?
I think what it was young brothers was lost. The brothers that we looked up to, they were lost as well. They didn't know how to guide, because they hadn't been guided. So they fell more on the mob than anything, and just going by the lit. And guess what, y'all? That wasn't enough. In order to be young, in order to be a brother in the struggle, we needed more. We needed guidance on how to get jobs. We needed guidance on how to love. We needed guidance on how to play, you know what I'm saying, be sportsmanship in a team that, you know, you just felt to be a part of.
Right.
Because remember, eventually, you know, you might be in the penitentiary and you'll get all that, sportsmanship and be a part of this team and all that. Well, you know, in the world we needed that. We needed the guidance before, you know what I'm saying, the aftermath, before we were caught up.
Yeah.
And it was just harder back then.
Okay.
You know, a lot harder.
Got you. So what was that for you? You have been incarcerated, I believe you told me, 5 times. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Four
Four
times.
times.
Right.
Okay, so a total of how many years?
Close to 10 probably.
So close to 10 years, okay.
Yeah.
So in and out the penitentiary, what was it that kept you kind of going back? Because for some people, it's one and done. For a lot of people, they own a lifetime installment plan,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And so
And they'll never
they'll never get out, right? It's constant in and out revolving doors. So for you, what was it, for one, that kept you going back and forth? And then also the second part of that, what was it that stopped you from going when you made that, like, the final decision? You said, I can't do this no more.
Right. That's a good question. You know, I think I didn't even really fully get it until the last time, you know, obviously, because, you know, I haven't been back since. But I think it's a point when you have to look at, you know, as an activist, I'm a citywide activist now, y'all. So I'm the guy that called 2 or 3 in the morning when they want these young guys to put the guns down. I'm on the streets, I get out here, jump out the car, you know, I make it happen, right? But to get on that side of the fence, remember, there's a turning point in your mind where you have to say, okay, you know, enough is enough. But let's reverse that, because now I speak to a lot of these young brothers, right? So reversing that, as far as what made me get out, what made them get in?
Right.
You know, that's really the biggest question that I ask a lot of these younger brothers, because for me, you know, getting out was because, you know, I knew that I was faced with death. It was no going back, meaning it wasn't gonna be going back to the joint. The next time it was gonna be all out, you know what I'm saying? And either I was gonna get killed by, you know what I'm saying, the police or the streets, or the judge was gonna knock me on the top of my head, you know, with 100 years. So that was my biggest incentive. Now getting back to the shorty, we have to find out what makes them deterred to the gangs, right? And a lot of times I sit down and talk to them, and one of the biggest things that I hear from these younger brothers is because they wanted to be loved. They wanted to be accepted. They wanted to feel like, you know, like I am somebody. They want attention. I don't know if you ever sit at a bus stop or go out, you know, I mean, I drive, but I mean, I still, you know, travel around. I still, you know, I might get on a bus and go downtown if I want to park, whatever.
Right.
And one of the biggest things that I notice with the younger generation is loudness. Just being not loud. They want to be heard. They just, hey, wait,
And I think on top of all that too, to add to that, social media kind of heightens that, because now you're not only showing out for the people around you, but you pull a phone out and the whole world can see you.
Exactly.
So I totally agree with you.
So so attention is the biggest thing. I think it's just a deprive of attention. You know, younger people want to feel like someone's watching and someone's listening, someone's hearing them.
Whether good or negative.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, and so they have a blurred line, because as you said, if I pull a phone out and I'm getting all this attention, now I got, like, say 10,000 views because, you know what I'm saying, I'm about to smack somebody,
I'm
or
incentivized
I'm watching this girl, you know, bust down a guy, or they're fighting or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's coming back to me. It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive in my eyesight if I'm a younger person, because I'm still getting attention. And that's the problem. We need to start, the men need to start standing back up and say, no, you know what? That's the wrong type of attention. You know, and you know what? Let me explain why. See, we need to start breaking stuff down. You know, so they can get it, because they don't get it.
So a part of your work going on the streets, speaking to these youth, is ULON, ULON. Let's talk about that. But that's how we actually met. We met when I came home from prison.
Exactly.
And you talked to me about what you were doing for the city activism. And so let's get into that.
That's superb. So when I met this cat right here, right, I want y'all to look around his background, right? So y'all might notice we in a little smooth, suave background, right?
Leveling up.
Rico Suave, you dig? But the reason of that is because we decided to pick, you know, like a reunion spot. This is our reunion spot. When me and this brother met, you know what I'm saying, a few years back, it was on, just maybe not even, is in the same area, but just right over this little hill right here. And so we decided to pick this again. ULON is really it's an anti-recidivism organization. It is a non-for-profit.
Okay.
I run it. ULON is an acronym. ULON stands for United Legion, One Nation, okay? And that means we don't care if you're an elk, you know what I'm saying, a Freemason, a Viceroy, a GD, a plumber. I wouldn't, you know, when you become a part of ULON, your family. You know what I'm saying? What we do is we feed the homeless. We get out here. We might have a movie night. We go 20 cars deep off the land, go to the movies with our children. We clean up these neighborhoods. We remove graffiti. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that ULON does, but I think the biggest thing that helps me, that makes me feel that ULON is really worth it, is our Big Brother program. Okay. So we have a program where we go out and we pick one of these younger brothers in the streets, and we go up to him, we give him a card, We hug them and we say, fam, you know what? We're here for you if you need us. We're here if you need to talk. You can call us at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's the value you take.
Okay.
That's the value you take once you become a part of ULON, that you will help and reach out to any younger brother or sister, because we have ULON queens now too.
Okay.
Who do the same thing to these younger sisters that might have been in and out the county jail, or, going in trouble with the RD home, or whatever, the case may be, having trouble in school. And this is what we do. So the Big Brother program is probably my biggest incentive, but we got people get jobs. You know what I'm saying? So I have contracts with different organizations that say, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. I know you got an X on your back. Mm-hmm. I know you got an X, because the reason I started, because I had trouble. When I came home, I couldn't get a job because of what I've been through.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So now it feels good to get back.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. And so the book, how did that come about? Everybody want to write a book now, right? Because self-publishing, the internet has made it that much easier for most people to kind of pen their story.
Exactly.
So penning your story, how did that come about? That you, like, as you said, you got a wild journey. As some of us do. So when did that start? Was that in the penitentiary when you was like, hey, I really need to kind of get this story out here?
Right. Or
was it something that you thought about when you were free?
Right. So I have another book out, right, called Cross the Bridge. Cross the Bridge is dealing, and it's worldwide. You get on Amazon, by Pete Keller. It's called Cross the Bridge. Mm-hmm. And Cross the Bridge is definitely about racial issues, about the system, about love in the ghetto, about the things we do in the ghetto. It's a multitude of different, I guess you could say, realities that, we live, right? And so the book, we got really big on the college circuit, right? And everybody, all the professors started calling me. They wanted me to come, speak to the sociology classes or criminal justice classes, et cetera, right?
Okay.
And so one thing that I noticed is every time I would go speak to these classes, all these, these kids would raise their hands, right? And I say kids, but I mean, these young adults.
Yeah.
They would raise their hands and they would say, hey, we were reading the book and we love the book. But, and see, I had sprinkled my life through it. But they was like, every time we read about you, we wanted more. Like, oh my God, Cabrini, they wanted so much more. And so I had started talking along all through the years to my guys from the projects, from the Cabrini, to the women, because everyone has a story.
Definitely,
like you said, everyone has a story, and I wanted that out. But people either start writing, put it off, start writing, maybe get locked up, start writing, lose the manuscript.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. So I said, you know what? With that incentive, what people really want to know, I said, you know what? Let me finally do it. Because let me tell you something, and this is for you guys, saying at home. Writing a book is not easy. I'm going to keep it real with you. You think that, well, it's about my life. It's an autobiography. Oh, I know what I can write. Let me tell you something. When you write a book, you have to remember the dates, the times, what you had on, how was the mood, what was the lighting, what was, you have to really put description behind your story.
One of the reasons behind that is nowadays, man, people will fact check.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you're saying, right?
Big time.
So you
just to take credibility away from whatever project it is that you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially if, look at me, right? So here I am from Cabrini. I've had every rapper come to Cabrini, and people are going to look into that.
Yeah.
And they can validate it. So one thing I'll say about this, I've been in 3 different documentaries. I have police reports. I've been on high-speed chase with the police, big-time drug dealer. I got facts to back it up. I got statistics to back it up. I got police paperwork to back it up, saying how many times I've been incarcerated, how many times I got locked, how many times I bond out. I got documentaries backing me up. I have pictures backing me up, like live pictures with R. Kelly, Nas, everybody.
I recognize with your social media. You post a lot of pictures from back in the day, Cabrini Green days.
Right. And I'm be honest with you, I was so lucky. I think I'm one of the few people, because I have guys, especially a lot of older guys in the mob, now come to me and be like, man, if it weren't, it's like, because see, back in the day, we just didn't take pics. We felt like, oh man,
you said it earlier.
a
Exactly.
little
So
scared,
people shied away from
But
camera.
now, because you just never know. Nowadays, you never know who's going to live one week and who might not be here next week. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
And so I'm always encouraging my younger brothers, and especially the older guys, start taking pictures. Now I have guys calling me that never took pictures, saying, fam, if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have pictures with my grandkids, with my daughter, with my son. Man, thanks, fam, because you broke me out that mold.
Yeah.
And now a lot of people that have passed, I've been able to give pictures to the family.
Yeah.
Pictures to their children, pictures to their wife, to their husband, to their loved ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I pride myself with that because guess what? We don't have nothing to hide.
So
we out here. So what?
So all those pictures, of course, will be able to be seen inside the book.
No. That's one thing. Now everybody wants me to pack the book with a bunch of pictures, but I'll be honest with you. If I did that, this book would be like the Bible, the original Bible.
Right.
This book would probably be, you wouldn't be able to carry it home from the bookstore. No. So what I've done is, I'm making a website, and it will correlate with the book.
Okay.
That's very, and then people say, oh my God.
Unique, though.
Yeah, it's very
That's
unique.
Yeah.
And so what you'll be able to do through this website.
Okay.
And if you come to the book signing, I'm gonna release the website and
okay.
you know what it's on, how you go to it, you know, you can log in, and you can see all the pictures I've had through the years with these different people, with these different artists, with different political people, with people I brought to the green,
right.
famous rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this.
Everybody.
Do they have to purchase the book in order to have access, like a code, to have access to this website? Okay.
Yes.
So you're monetizing that part of it.
And I'm sure it's gonna leak. Obviously it's gonna leak, you know what I'm saying? Eventually it's probably gonna leak. But I mean, do the Patriot thing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, patronize your brother, you know what I'm saying? I put a lot of work into this book.
Yeah.
And I'm the real deal. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in Chicago knows they're waiting for the book.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can find anything online now about all these different I mean, everything's pretty much gone. You know what I'm saying? And so now we just want the memory out there. I just need to tell, because no one has come forth talking about, you know, what it is about Cabrini that made it special, that made it unique. You know what I'm saying? This is a nice place. But what made it a raw place? What was so unique about it? And then I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I'll give you the good, the ends, and the bads, and the ugly. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask
but
you
it's
this.
love, though.
Let me ask you this part, right? Getting more into the business side of that book. The ISBN, like how did you go about getting that and actually getting distribution and editors, illustrators, things of that nature? Like what was that process like for you, for the men and women out there? Because again, we all got a story. A lot of us just don't know where to start, whether it's self-publishing. Finding your niche and just really, pretty much really unpacking your story. Right. So
and then
how
projecting
did you,
and getting it out
exactly.
there.
And so let's walk through that. Talk to the audience about how you did that.
So let me tell my people, for those who are at home who are maybe interested in writing a book, you know, you can definitely get up with me. Go to www.ULON, which is the name of my organization, which is ULON.life. All right. Pay a lot for that. All right. ULON.life, man. And you can leave me a message, but I'm gonna give you a little fifth of this real quick because it's not a secret. You know what I'm saying? The biggest part about writing a book is actually just writing a book. The rest of the part is easy. So once you get your manuscript done and you want to start shopping it, you have two things you can do.
Okay.
One, you can start going for somebody who you feel has a lot of money behind them, who might want to, you know, invest in you and put you out there and be a publishing company and say, you know what, this is an automatic top bestseller. I got faith in this. We want to do it. But let me warn you. Let me tell you right now, and you heard it from me, Pete Keller. Check what your royalties are going to be. Because I have people right now to this day that have signed, I know personally, with some of the biggest publishing companies, and they might get maybe 12 cents off a book. No BS. And the book might be selling for $16.99.
Right.
Okay? Now, all they're going to do, so the incentive they're going to tell you, we're going to give you up front maybe like 20 stacks or something, 15 stacks.
Right.
Y'all, that ain't no money. Stop thinking that's money, y'all. Y'all just seen the 10K just come out and it's gone. You know, don't fall for that.
So what's a good royalty a person should be looking at where they say, okay, I can go for that? And okay, what's the difference between, should I make it paperback? Should I make it hard copy? Should I make it an ebook? Like how do you come up with which way distribution I want to do?
So let me tell you something. Anything that's going over $6 or just say $5 is a good royalty. If they're willing to pay you anything over $5, which is not gonna happen, but if they're willing to pay you anything over $5, if you can get your lawyers or anybody to go over $5, if the book sells for $16.99, even $14.99, $5 is beautiful.
Right.
Just think you sell a million copies, right? You got 5 million right on top.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you want anything over $5. Number two, I wouldn't do that right now. Self-publish. Self-publishing is still the best way. It basically won't really cost you anything, you know what I'm saying? It's some publishing companies, you could pay like a stack to publish it. Some publishing companies might even do it basically for free, but you're gonna have to do all the promotion. You're gonna have to, you know, and that's hard as well, you know what I'm saying?
Let me add something to that, right? With self-publishing, nowadays you got sites like Fiverr. That's FIVERR.com, right? I utilize it sometimes to do some editing work, logos, things of that nature. Anything you can think of from a creative standpoint, whether it's like creating your cover art, illustrator, even an editor for your manuscript. A person can go on there and literally spend a few dollars, maybe up a couple $100 to actually get your whole, pretty much your package together.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's definitely a great resource that you all can check out with that. Was that something that you utilized, or did you?
Yeah, I looked through all of them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the biggest thing is promotion again.
Exactly.
Because you have to decide which way you're gonna go. Because remember, if you get a publisher that's gonna pay you off, they're gonna do all the promotion. And you still don't know how that promotion is gonna go, what market they're gonna hit, what audience they're gonna hit, what radio stations are gonna hit, what TV, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, right as of now, the best thing to do is self-publish. Even if it costs you a couple of dollars, like you said, it's not gonna be much nowadays. Some places, like I said, are even free, but you won't have any promotions or editing. So you're gonna have to pay for your own editing. Please do that. It's not much. You can go somewhere and probably pay someone like $100. You know, nothing major. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere, get editing. For your illustration for your front cover, you might pay for that. You know, your front and back cover. They will actually. There's cheap people out here probably give you a front and back cover for like $75.
Yeah.
Like I know people that would do it for dirt cheap. You know what I'm saying? Your whole book, packaging, everything could cost you under $150 if you're gonna do it all on your own, and if you wanna put it out there on your own, and you know what I'm saying, just do the homework, you know. Again, get up with me, I can give you some good sites, got KDP and Create Space and Booksearch. There's a lot of places to do it.
Now, speaking of promotion and marketing, right, I've noticed as of the last couple of weeks, you're promoting your book, of course, by coming on Escaping the Odds podcast, but as well on major media outlets. How does a person go about doing that? Now, I know you have connections because you've been in the streets kind of doing this work or whatever, right? But someone who wants to, who has a story, got a creative book, got the whole package, how do I reach out to those media outlets, those radio stations in my city, and those television stations in my city to get an interview?
Okay, good question.
To promote my book.
So for those at home who say, for instance, you have a niche, you writing a book, you know your book's gonna sell, you just feel like, you know, you're just different, you put the money up and you get your book out. What you do is, and this is a secret because a lot of people don't know this, you have to get a book signing. A lot of places are not gonna touch your stuff unless you have a book signing come up. So get a book signing, even if it's a little small moms and pops place. And the fact that you got it on paper is what makes you fax the news and media, okay? Remember that, y'all, putting y'all up on this game now. Once you get a place that'll take your book signing, I don't care if you call your Uncle Joe, he got a little storefront, you know what I'm saying? Just so that you have a place, a date, and a time. Get that. You put it on the paper. You put out there that your book signing is coming up. Get 10 copies of your book. Get 10 copies. Pass it out to the news and media free. Give it to Channel 7. Give it to Channel 5. Find somebody, say, hey, I want you to read this book. If you can, you know, I would appreciate it if we can get a story on it. You know what I'm saying? They would do it as long as you have a book signing coming up. Even if your book sucks, y'all. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, it's just like American Idol. You ever see them people get on American Idol and think they can sing, and they be on there like, la, la, and they get like straight clown? There's gonna be some writers like that. You might be the writer, I don't know. You might be an excellent writer. You might be the next person, the American Idol who wins. It don't matter. You need a date for a book signing. Get that, y'all. That's my free game to y'all. Get your date. You include that in your package and you send it off, and you're gonna get a call. Remember that.
Wow, okay, y'all heard it here, man. So
live and direct.
Definitely, man. So is there any, matter of fact, speaking of books, right? I ask a lot of my guests this. What were some of those books that you read while you were incarcerated that kind of changed the mindset of the way you were going?
Okay.
So give me your top two.
Yeah, I would say some of my top, well, of course, number one, the Bible, you know what I'm saying? That was definitely number one of all time because that got the most game in it ever. I mean, anything you go out there, you can pick up in the Bible and get through it. Yeah. Of course, all praise due to, you know what I'm saying? So, Yeshua, man, that's number one. If you're not connected, get connected. That's number one. But then there's a lot of good books. Behold a Pale Horse. That was one of my favorite books, you know what I'm saying? By William Cooper. He actually gave his life for that book. That book is, you know, kind of busting out a lot of the government about what they're doing behind our backs. You know, a lot of people who sold, you know, oh, the government would never do this to us, but it's in black and white. He used to be, you know, working inside the government. He was, you know, actually, he was some type of, you know, CIA, you know, working with them and broke loose when he found out a lot of what was going on. Behold a Pale Horse. A lot of stuff we talk about then is coming out right now. Like 30 years later. He got killed in the 90s. He got shot like 12 times.
Okay.
You know, so, but that's one thing, you know what I'm saying? I would just say things like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which was actually a good movie that came out with Jack Nicholson. You know what I'm saying? Grapes of Wrath. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different Steinbeck books that I found very, very interesting. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, perfect.
And it's good to read. I want you guys to know the reading is definitely still in. Get you a nice paperback and check it out.
One of the books that I read while I was incarcerated was a book called Made to Stick. I can't think of the author's name right now, but pretty much he talks about how ideas catch on and how they pretty much they spread like viruses. And so that's definitely a book you guys want to check out on that. Anything else, brother?
Yeah, I just want to say, man, it's actually a pleasure to be able to sit here with another brother who has been in the same position I've been. And I want to encourage those at home or anybody that's watching that, you know, you can set your mind to anything. I mean, we talk this all the time, you know, we say, oh, you could do anything you want, but you literally can if you actually set up and get up and do it, write it down, and get that blueprint, get a format of what you want to do, and then stick to it. Remember, nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. You know, that first day you might be tired, you might not want to get out the bed, but get out the bed, make it happen, stay prayed up, and I guarantee you, you can't help but win.
So Pete, what can we catch you at? All of the Facebook, Instagram, you talked about ULON.life. Where your book will be, your book signing. I know that's towards the end of the month. Give out all the information. What can we contact you?
Well, real quick, let me just say this, man. You know, I want you guys to come on out to the book signing. It's going to be August 29th at a place called Burning Bush, which is 4014 North Rockwell. If you got to repeat, you know what I'm saying, rewind this podcast
and that's
again.
In Chicago.
Yeah, look it up. It's right kind of northwest. Free parking. It's free parking, y'all. Y'all can definitely come. Free parking, get a fifth for this real game. I'm going to help y'all if y'all come out. You know what I'm saying? We got a little prize and free giveaway.
Okay.
You know, it's going to be a nice time to kind of, you know, sit back,
right.
network. It's a networking event for all the authors in Chicago, for anybody who's doing some poets, going spoken word, all that. Okay. And then on top of that, you can reach me at www.ulon.life. You can leave a message and I'll give you a personal phone number to ULON's office, 312-834-8020. All right? You can leave a message. You can reach me right there directly, 312-834-8020. Again, my name is Pete Keller, known as Esaun or Queso on the street. And man, I just love y'all. Stay encouraged, y'all. Remember, if I can make it, this book is all about perseverance. If I can make it with nothing, coming through the projects, doing what I do, I know you guys can make it. I know it.
Well, there y'all got it, man. You got a brother here escaping the odds for many, many years, going through the battle, man, actually penning that story now. So definitely check that out and continue to support escapingtheodds.com. Just drop the website. Also, Facebook, Escaping the Odds, Instagram, Escaping the Odds Podcast. You can hear this podcast on Anchor.fm, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Continue to support, subscribe, like, comment, and we're signing off. Opportunities over penitentiary. Unlocking freedom. Thank y'all for tuning in. Escaping the Odds. Peace.